everyone. I'm Sandhya Krishnan and I'm a TB survivor and advocate. During my fight against TB, I understood how TB can affect one's mental health. That's why I have taken up my responsibility to support other TB affected folks. Even though I cannot offer medical care, I can speak for them. Any sickness often comes with a lot of stigma associated with it. Where there is stigma, there is mental health impact. What's more, TB diagnosis often takes a long time, and treatment is even longer, with medications that have numerous side effects, one of which is mental health challenges. In our society, we talk both TB and mental health in whispers. So while TB and mental health coexist, we rarely address them. Evidence suggests that TB and mental health are co-epidemics. That means that they exist together and have a causal relationships. 1 in 4 patients suffers from depression, which is either the result of drugs or difficult treatment processes. It can take up to 24 months to go through the treatment. And then of course there is stigma and myths about TB. Stigma feeds out mental health pressures and challenges, and those affected are left alone to cope with this. I know personally that visiting the hospital regularly and taking medication with side effects can be a mentally and physically exhausting process. Patients lose self-confidence, they interrupt treatment, some give up, and others also go to extremes of having suicidal thoughts and disturbing psychotic episodes. Sometimes people affected by TB are so badly affected that they cannot do their daily chores by themselves. Something as basic as getting out of bed and taking a shower can be a difficult task. This leads to the affected individual being seen as the burden in the family, but also by themselves, both physically and financially. As a fellow TB survivor once said to me, "Is this life even worth living?" Clearly, diagnosis and treatment is not enough. There needs to be mental health care support and access both to those affected, but also their families. When it comes to dealing with MDR TB or multi-drug resistant TB, it can get even tougher. The medicines have immense side effects on mental health as well as on physical appearance. How do we address some of these issues? First, let's start by acknowledging that mental health is a significant issue for TB affected communities. Those affected need to be made aware that whatever they are going through is a part of treatment and not their fault. When we are not aware of this, we tend to move further down the spiral by feeling demotivated. Moreover, the stigma around TB, treatment, and diagnosis also needs to be addressed. TB can happen to anyone. It's no one's fault. There are many cases where misinformation, in the case of women and other genders, leads to discrimination and abandonment by family, leading to more severe mental health issues. Further, we need to especially focus on women and people from marginalized communities. The mental health repercussions tend to be even worse for LGBTQIA++ communities because they remain more vulnerable to discrimination and mental health challenges. We need to ensure that mental health services are integrated into TB diagnosis and treatment at all levels. Right from the first discussion around the possibility of TB diagnosis to treatment completion. Many times, those affected need help even after recovery. What we need is for the issue to be addressed from all aspects. To begin with, educating those affected about treatment by involving them in the process is mandatory. We need to support the treatment with mental health services. A starter for this can be through support forums where those affected can share their experiences without being judged. Another key aspect is sensitizing and equipping families with the ability to understand and deal with mental health issues. They should know how to deal and treat the affected individual instead of shunning them and seeing them as a burden. Let's face the facts. TB and mental health are co-epidemics. Trying to resolve one while ignoring the other won't work. It's time to put those affected at the center and ask them what they require, and accordingly plan the services offered. TB-affected services without mental health support are not just ineffective, they are incomplete. Thank you.